We are winemakers. This whole thing of wine just happening, you have winemakers for a reason. But my philosophy has always been doing as little as possible to have the best expression of that site and of the vintage. I'm Emul Ross, the winemaker for Hamilton Russell Vineyards, Southern Rite and Ashbourne, and also for Hamilton Russell Oregon, a little project that we do each year in the United States and Oregon. Hamilton Russell is a beautiful estate and very unique in the sense that we're very close to the Atlantic Ocean. The top of the farm is only about 1.6 kilometers from the ocean. Chardonnay and Pinot Noir are the varieties that have the nicest things to say about the place, so we only focus on those. We make one Chardonnay and one Pinot Noir every vintage. We farm particularly clay-rich Bockerfeld shale soils. Difficult to farm, but it's a beautiful place and a beautiful expression of Chardonnay and Pinot Noir for the country. I'm really fortunate to live on the Hamilton Russell property with my family. It means that I'm really nice and close to the vineyards and I can monitor them and decide on the optimal time to pick. It's also a lovely place to live from a social and lifestyle point of view. I grew up in a wine drinking family, not in the wine industry, and I was fascinated by the diversity and differences in wine. And then when it came to being kicked out the nest, I decided to go and study wine at Stellenbosch University. In my final year, I worked at Graham Beck Wines when they still had a cellar in Franschhoek with Erika Obermeyer and Peter Ferreira. It's the most corporate cellar that I've worked in, but with that came a lot of learning, all the different health and safeties and all the boring things about winemaking, but also a lot of exciting things. I think working with Erika and Peter, they're super talented and we had access to fantastic fruit. On Hamilton Russell, we're fortunate that, the Chardonnay really is the child that performs effortlessly at school. You don't have to tell it to do its homework or do too much to it. So we try and capture the vintage in the most beautiful form each year. We don't buy in any fruit for Hamilton Russell, for the Chardonnay or Pinot. It's all just estate-grown fruit. That has its challenges, obviously, in some vintages, but generally it's very nice to just be able to capture that vintage. The Guild it's a fantastic group to be part of. I think it was just before Christmas somewhere, Sam O'Keefe called me and broke the news to me, and it was overwhelming. I mean, it's a fantastic honor to be selected by your peers in the industry and a great group to be part of. There's massive opportunity for learning and to also give back to the wine industry in a nice way. I think the first couple of Guild wines would just be from the property, and then I'd love to eventually branch out and get Chardonnay from different areas and see what we can do with that. Because Hamilton Russell's always just one wine, one Chardonnay and Pinot, we don't have a reserve. It would be nice to pick my sort of personal preference of block on the farm and see what that does. We don't enter lots of wine competitions. We prefer being assessed by individual wine critics and things. Awards are great and we do get them, but I think some people get caught up. For us, the biggest achievement is when somebody really enjoys your wine and sends you an email or a photo of them enjoying it at a special occasion. That's what it's about.